Okay, for this demo, we're going to talk about how to create a rotoscope GIF animation. This kind of thing could also be exported just as a video that you could bring into, say, Final Cut or any other video software to use. But the first thing you can do, I'm going to show you two different ways to do this. One way would be just by taking pictures. Now, I took pictures just using my photo booth, and what I did was I kind of took my different angles. So I'll kind of show you real quick what they look like. Just kind of spinning in a circle here and taking the pictures, okay? Then what I did was I copied all of these that I wanted to use, and I shift selected and dropped them in my folder, okay? So you want to copy that into a folder on your desktop, right? So now I'm done with photo booth. I'm just going to quit that out. Next up, though, I'm going to go into Photoshop, all right? And what we're going to do is there's two different ways you can do this. One way would be with just still images, and the other way is with video. So they're both kind of cool, and I'll show you some of the ways you can work with it. For a just still image rotoscope, what we're going to do is go to File, and we're going to go down to Scripts, and we want to go to Load Files into Stack. And what that's going to do is bring a bunch of flat images into layers. So I'm going to go Load Files into Stack. You're going to get this browser. I'm going to go up, and I'm going to find my folder. I'm already on it, and what I'm going to do is just drag up the photos I want to bring in and hit Open. Okay, this will actually create a new document. It's going to load all these layers up. You can see that, and these can then be retitled later if you need to. So right now what's going on is these are all just stacked up, and they're good to go. There's a couple ways you can work on a rotoscope. You could work directly on the layer. So with a rotoscope, what it's basically doing is you're drawing over top of it, right? You could also do this where you create a layer for each one that'll be on top. That way you preserve the original layer, so if you need to go back and look at it or change something, you can do that. So that's what I'm going to do today, but you could actually draw directly on there. You could like just draw yourself. You could just, there's a lot of different options here. So I'm going to make a new layer right above the one that I'm working with, okay? And so I'm going to turn off all the other layers, and I'm only working with this one right now. Okay, now my preferred method of drawing is going to be with just a paintbrush and just some color. So I'm going to make this kind of poppy looking. So I'm going to go in and just draw my face. Now, this process, I guess the good thing is you guys get to learn a little bit of how to draw stuff and how to trace and use a tool. I'm using my Wacom pen, so I'm just gonna go over this thing really quick. Horrible drawing of the beard there, but again. And this can be kind of as weird as or as cool as you want it to be. Obviously, the more time you take on this, the better you're going to be in terms of making it look realistic. I'm just using, again, my basic paintbrush, and I'm going up here just to mess with the brush size. I'm also using my brackets to change the size of it. Okay, so again, you can make this really kind of weird and crazy, which is obviously an option you have. Do a little bit of value in the hair. All right, so I'm not going to go crazy here and do a ton, but I want to get some stuff so you guys can kind of see what it looks like. And really here just kind of focusing in on what kind of stuff do you need to really define your face or whatever you're drawing. Okay, in this case it's obviously my face. I'm just doing the portraiture. I'm just going to do kind of up to that point, maybe do a little bit of detail. If you haven't worked with the Wacom pen, you could use the mouse. I think the Wacom pen is a really great tool to get used to. And you don't even have to go realistic. You can just draw shapes and weird stuff all over the place. Okay. It is important to note that you are in a new layer, so make sure you understand that. Okay. Let's see what it looks like. Boom. Okay. Nothing crazy, but I got something there. All right. Just kind of helps me draw. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off both of those. I'm going to go to my new layer, turn it on. That's, second layer. I'm going to create a new layer above it, and then I'm going to do essentially the same thing. All right. Now what I didn't do in that last one, I didn't do any color fill, but you could do that and make it look kind of cool. Again, this style of rotoscoping does not have to be perfect by any means. Okay, so there is that level of imperfection and kind of looseness that could potentially make it look cool if you do it right. So for demo's sake, though, I'm just not gonna go real slow. If I mess up something, I'm just kind of rolling with it for demo. One thing you could do as well, like I'm kind of having trouble because like the picture's a little bit dark for me to see all my line work. I could go to this original layer and just tone down the opacity a little bit. That would be probably too much there, but you know, maybe like a 93%, you know, and then you might be able to see your image a little bit better. Just again, make sure you flip back to your one layer. All right, there we go. And here's kind of what we're looking for, right? Is that change up between those two. So what I would do now is I can animate this. Now I'm going to save this, and I'm just going to save it as my video demo. And then what I'm going to do is going to go up to my window and go to animation. Okay, and on cell 1, I'm going to say, all right, what do I want to show? I want to show that first image. How long do I want it to play for? I'm going to say maybe 0.2 or 0.5. Okay, and then I'm going to go new layer. And I'm going to change this one to show the next image. And then I'm going to change this to play forever. It's already going to. So right now, that might be a little bit slow. So I'm going to change that to 0.2. But, you know, if you have multiple cells and like over time, I'm going to have myself actually rotating here, you're going to get a pretty cool look to it. And then say, you know, simple things you can do. All right, we also want to have I'm going to go back to cell 1 because whatever I do in cell 1 applies to everything. I'm going to make a new layer, move it to the bottom. And I'm just going to color this thing like a lighter color. Do a paint bucket, boom. I'm going to have that activated in all cells, and now, there we go. Okay, wanted to draw more in there maybe, okay. On cell 1, oops, that's a lighter color. You can just draw some random stuff, go to cell 2. All right, now I'm working on layer 2, and the right layer. Booyah. And now we have just a really nice, simple rotoscope. At the end of this, what you'd want to do is go File, Save Optimize for Save Optimize for web and devices, export it out as a GIF, and then it should be playable.